You won't believe what I found. This is a very important piece of history for a couple of reasons. The first, that it is a product from a mill factory that was founded in 1881 in Cabbagetown, Atlanta, by a man named Jacob Elsas. And his factory was called Fulton Cotton Mills. And he ran that mill until he retired in 1914, when his son took over, until its eventually slow demise in 1981. The last bag that was produced was around 1958. And the bags that I'm talking about are feed sacks or flour sacks that would transport goods such as flour or potatoes or beans, because back in those days it was very hard to transport goods in bulk. So it was an enterprise that really put Atlanta back on the map after the Civil War. And this bag represents so much of what the cotton industry did for Atlanta and for mills across the country, and who ran those mills and what type of people worked in those mills. Jacob Elsas had a business partner when he first began his mill, who was a formerly enslaved person named Mose White. And he integrated very early into his mill. And it was not about race. It was more about able bodies to work and for people to find work. And these bags that were produced were beautiful. It was a way for people to advertise their own business. They would outsource to Fulton Cotton Mills. Fulton Cotton Mills made their own bags. So it was a way to advertise different products. The piece that I found is very, very rare. It is very, very special because you don't normally see African Americans or African people in the field picking cotton. Sometimes that type of information gets pushed away. And I think it's a very important piece to talk about, especially when you have a cotton mill and that bag coming out of a cotton mill. I run a nonprofit called the Patchworks Art and History Center, and I am the curator, also the co-founder. So here's the actual piece that I found. It is clearly labeled Fulton Cotton Mills, and this is when the name had changed over in the 50s. So I am thinking that this bag came out of that era around 1956, 1957. It is in great shape. It's a fabulous piece. It's absolutely beautiful. There's no fading. The colors are amazing. And you actually get a sense of the work being done and how hot it is because of the vibrant sun in the background. It is a process called calico, where they dye some of the strands and then they weave it into fabric to make a picture. It's extraordinary. There's nothing like this out there that shows the connection between a person working in the cotton fields and bringing this to Fulton Cotton Mills. So there is that connection there. Fulton Cotton Mills was a big industry. The main mill was in Atlanta, Georgia, but Jacob Elsas had sons and daughters, and he sent them out to open up mills across the country. So there were 9 other mills. So that is a lot of bags being produced. They went international. They had some clients in Savannah. They had most of their products as a bag factory. But as the times changed, so did the product line change. But they were always a bag factory. Now, is there anything like this that I have seen? No. This is why this piece is so important. Have I seen other beautiful hand-painted or printed bags? Absolutely. In fact, Georgia Tech has the last bag that was made from Fulton Cotton Mills from the Atlanta, Georgia plant, and it's extraordinary. It's absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend that anyone that sees this to go stop by Georgia Tech. When I found this, it was actually a friend of mine who had told me about this estate sale. and I was on vacation, and she called me immediately. And when I saw this piece, I knew that I had to have it. It's just so special. It gave me the chills. It is such a meaningful piece. And I'm very, very lucky that I get to talk about this piece. It's emotional. It's a very emotional piece. You know, again, I mean, the history of cotton picking and the history of mills and the history of manufacturing and the history of Atlanta is just enormous and vibrant and scary and wonderful all at the same time. And I think that this piece kind of embodies a lot of those emotions. If you're interested in seeing this piece, please contact us. Again, we're called the Patchworks Art and History Center. We're located in Cabbagetown, Atlanta. Our email address is info@thepatchworks.org. If you're interested in finding more pieces for yourself from the estate sale in which I found this lovely piece, there is a book coming out. It's called The Art of Pickin' for Profit, Volume 1, and I highly recommend that you check that out.